really suffered from decades of misinformation. And it's much harder to unlearn things than to learn new things. And we have a couple things out there that are just wrong. What's wrong is that parents cause eating disorders. What's wrong is that eating disorders are a choice. And what's also wrong is that it's just a sociocultural thing, that it's just kids wanting to look like models or diet down to reach some ideal. It's much more complicated than that. So where we are in the research is really looking all the way from the cellular level, so down to what's happening in the cells, to the population level, what's happening in the big picture. And that research is really trying to look at not only what causes eating disorders, all of the eating disorders, but also how to treat them and how they sort of change over time in the population. So we're really sort of going at it from all angles to try to understand this very complex phenomenon. One of the surprises over the past decade has really been the extent to which biology, and by that I mean genetics, influences risk for eating disorders. We used to think it was all the environment or sociocultural influences, but now we really know that they work hand in hand. So the best way to really think about it is that sort of genes load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. We can't do much about the genes yet aside from identifying them and figuring out what they do, but we can change the environment. So most of our interventions are really working on how can we change the environment, especially to protect those people who are more genetically vulnerable. So what does environment mean? There are all sorts of things in the environment that can influence whether you actually express your genetic predisposition. It could be something like the media, it can be fashion, it can be going on a diet. There are all sorts of things out there that can trigger an underlying genetic predisposition. The old myths about family, we really have to get away from that. The belief that families somehow cause eating disorders, we have to erase that from our heads. If anything, families are our best allies in treating eating disorders.